What were you, yes you, on the other end of the screen doing 20 years ago? Me? Just waiting to be born. Plain and simple. But Aaron Rodgers, 20 years ago, he was in a green room waiting to get drafted, and finally he was called to become a member of the Green Bay Packers. Fast forward to today, well, yesterday to be more exact, and he is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers in what is really a bizarre move. Hello everybody and welcome to the SmeeSports YouTube channel. Yesterday the news broke about Aaron Rodgers signing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about it because I have some thoughts, and there are some big thoughts. Yes, there are some brain cells still left up here, but not too many. So for the sake of keeping them intact, let's get underway. First things first, Aaron Rodgers had the perfect last game. And I mean perfect last game for his standards. He reached the 500 touchdown club through 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a win over the Dolphins, knocking Miami out of playoff contention. It was a good ending for a rough stint in New York. Year 1, he played all of maybe 5 snaps, then got that awful injury, ending his season before it began. Came out this past season, not a great year. We'll put it up on screen just to show the results. I mean, a lot of tough losses in there, but to get that one final big result at the end. I was watching the game and I said, that's the perfect way for Aaron Rodgers to retire. But no, he has come back for potentially one final season. And no, he did not copy Brett Favre and go play for Minnesota. Well, to be fair, I mean, blue and yellow. J.J. McCarthy, blue and yellow. Close enough? No, Aaron Rodgers might actually win more games this year than J.J. McCarthy. Nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers, at the age of 41, still playing quarterback. It's really impressive to see on the surface. We saw Tom Brady play for a number of years, but the difference, he just kept winning. It took him not too long, and while a pandemic and a home Super Bowl, to win his 7th ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2020. And it was a great win for Tampa. And Tom Brady, even when he retired, he could have played for a couple more years. He still had that it factor about him that made him TB12. You look at Aaron Rodgers, yeah, not so much. I mean, the last game he played for the Packers, he denied Jamal Williams his jersey. Rivalry, yes, but still. He kind of knew then that the writing was on the wall that would end his career. Few years pass, and he is still in the league. First off, if you are a Steelers fan, I don't even know what you think. Once again, on the surface, you get a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. Yes, the same Aaron Rodgers who has had so many great seasons under center for the Cheeseheads and, well, 1 year under center for the Jets that did not end in disaster. Well, 5-12 maybe still classified as disaster. I get that part of it. But at the same time, you have the potential quarterback of the future. I say that with a grain of salt because I don't know if you pick your quarterback of the future in the 6th round. Can't think of anybody drafted around maybe pick 199 that has had a very good NFL career offhand and also who has been mentioned in this video so far. Not coming to mind right now. But either way, you have a guy like Will Howard who can come in and be your starter this year. Now, I understand you want to go 9-8. Well, Mike Tomlin wants to go 9-8. And getting a guy like DK Metcalf via trade was a big step in the right direction to make that happen. But still, why not have a down year and, believe it or not, go under 500? I know, gasps all the way around. The Steelers fans, they can't comprehend a below 500 season. And I understand. You like to win. Everybody likes to win. But sometimes you have to sacrifice a year or two for a rebuild to get back to the big time. The Steelers have been stagnant for so long now. Quarterback after quarterback, flavor of the month after flavor of the month. You had Big Ben. He knew that 2020 season where they lost to the Browns, that was their last chance. You could just see the defeat. In his last game, he just said he was going out there to have some fun. He admitted defeat before going out to face Patrick Mahomes, which, for a guy like Big Ben, takes a lot to say. Then you go, you get Pickett in, he struggles. You have Fields and Wilson last year. Fields probably outperformed Wilson when it was all said and done, but it was still Russ's team when they lost to the Ravens by 2 scores in the wild card. And that wild card, a lot further apart than 2 touchdowns. The Ravens dominated from start to finish, but in the end, they kind of just took their foot off of the gas, and you really couldn't have blamed them because the game was wrapped up, and they knew the game was wrapped up, and they had to go and play again the next week against a very talented Bills squad. Unfortunately, they did drop the ball on that one. Obviously, a tough way to go out, but I think the Ravens will be back this year, but that's for another time to talk about. We are still talking about the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Looking at the last couple of years of his career, we'll put it up on screen just to show how he has performed. You have just under 3,900 yards last season, just under 3,700 in his last year in Green Bay, 4,115 in 2021, just a titch under 4,300 in 2020, and then just before COVID, just over 4,000 yards. You go back, you see 4,000 a few times in a row, 3 to be exact from 2019 through 2021. Then 37, gap year, 39. And as well, the interceptions going up from 2015, or really just looking all the way down, after the 2010 season where he threw a total of 11 picks, the pick tally went like this: 6, 8, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 2, 4, 5, 4. Last 2 seasons Rodgers played, 12 and 11. That's tough. Interceptions down the stretch, well, albeit not all of them are his fault. He has had a carousel of wide receivers. It's still tough to see that decline, and even his passer rating going down. The last 2 seasons that he's played, 91.1, 90.5. The last 3 years that he played in Green Bay before that final year, which was really a down year for him, 2021, 111.9, 2020, 121.5, 2019, 95.4. Looking back to the first time that he started back in 2007 full-time, really, or 2008, 93 was the lowest, and that was year 1. Then you go 92.7 in 2015, 90.5 last year. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is getting older. He is going to be 42 by the end of this season as he turns 42 in December. Going to a very famous quote from another kind of football. I think we play it here.
Leave the football before the football leaves you. The football's left them.
Leave the football before the football leaves you. I think it's left him. I hope for Aaron Rodgers' sake that he can have a solid campaign next year. I really do. Even though I'm a Browns and Seahawks fan, I want to see a guy like Aaron Rodgers, really the last quarterback who is still near what he was, at least, during my childhood, which I will say ended 2020. I'll kind of make that cutoff there. Once you enter high school, that's kind of when the childhood ends. That's really what we have left. You could say Russ is there, but Russ is a shell of himself, and as a Seahawks fan, I remember the day he was traded. That's really when things went downhill for him. We all saw what happened on Christmas a few years ago, a bad performance at SoFi, so on and so forth. But Aaron Rodgers, really the last piece of the quarterback puzzle from my childhood, still in the league. That part of me, that kid watching the NFL back in 2012 with the glorious Fox and CBS scorebugs and graphics alike, that kid still wants to see Aaron Rodgers succeed. But I don't know if it's going to happen. And over here at SmeeSports, we have a few interns who are Steelers fans, and I've talked to them briefly. They kind of do share that sentiment of Aaron Rodgers might not be the right guy for the job. You can go on our website, SmeeSports.com, and see Dan Ridenour's article about the other 2 quarterbacks, which we will talk about in a second, in Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, who also could be the starters this year for Pittsburgh if something crazy goes down. But right now, I will put it out there. You sign Aaron Rodgers to start Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers doesn't play one more year of football to ride the pine. Plain and simple. You don't put a future Hall of Famer on the bench like that. Well, you can, and to be fair, the Steelers put at one point, future Hall of Famer and Russell Wilson on the bench for Justin Fields. That's neither here nor there. But looking at the Steelers quarterback room, you have Mason Rudolph and you have Will Howard. Once again, I think Will Howard has a bright future in this league. I think he can be, at worst, a 2020 Taylor Heineke. A guy who, at a moment's notice, can come into a game, get you a at least solid 20 points. We'll say that. We're not going to count the extra points in here. A solid 20 points. He could be directly responsible, whether it be through the air or just game management for 20 points a game. I feel like that's what he could really be. Why 20? I think he can get a couple of touchdowns on the board. I would say 3 touchdowns, and then he can really just kind of guide the team up the field for a field goal every so often, average it out to 20. I feel like that's the offensive, I don't want to say ceiling, but probable outlook for a guy like Will Howard. I think you are going to see him lead an offense kind of like that if he gets the chance, because there are a lot of guys drafted like a Jarrett Stidham in 2019. When New England selected him, we thought, okay, he'd get a chance. Same thing with Tampa Bay drafting Kyle Trask. Okay, these guys are good. They will have a chance. Stidham has started maybe a handful of games, and I could not tell you the last time Kyle Trask has played an NFL game. If he even has. If he has, we'll put up the stats on the screen right now. I don't know if there's anything there right now. I don't know. But it happens. And I don't know if Will Howard is going to be one of those guys that just doesn't play, but he could be. Now, going back to the Steelers this year as a whole, just looking at their schedule, you could tell the NFL was banking on Aaron Rodgers signing, because week 1, it's New York. I mean, it's him versus Justin Fields and his old team. Script or no script, I kind of think we understand what the writing on the wall was there. Week 2 is the Steelers taking on the Seahawks. You go back to 2014, the lead that was blown in the NFC Championship game, revenge game. Week 3, Patriots. Doesn't really matter except an old division rival. I would say they're more rivals back when Tom Brady was there, and I don't really know how often they played each other. Week 4, you have the Vikings, revenge game. Week 5, Browns, new conference, same thing with the Bengals. Then they play the Packers. It's a primetime game. If you're the NFL, you don't put Steelers and Packers in primetime unless it's going to be Aaron Rodgers playing against the Packers. Jordan Love and the Packers deserve primetime. They're a good team. The Steelers, on the other hand, do not. And yes, I understand that's an old Super Bowl matchup. That's why they did it. But you don't do that unless Aaron Rodgers is going to be there. I don't really see the promo content of putting Will Howard against the Packers. It's not like Will Howard had the best game of his career against Wisconsin in Wisconsin, and all of a sudden it's, can he do it again? And that is your marketing for Sunday Night Football, which would be genius. I would like to see quarterbacks who played great games in certain college stadiums have a chance to go back to those states to try and repeat the feat as an NFL starter. Could that be a concept we see in a couple of years? Campus Heroes, it's a Madden concept, but why not bring it to the NFL? Let me know your thoughts down below. That's just something I thought of on the fly that really could be really fun. Then from there, it's Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Bears, Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Lions, Browns, and to close it out, it is the Ravens. It's a schedule that if the Steelers can play some good football, they have a chance to win some games. And you look at their receiver core once again, you have Muth and you have DK. Wide receiver 2, somehow in some way, they're going to spawn in an Allen Lazard, an MVS, somebody along those lines who Aaron Rodgers has thrown the football to in the past. It's just the way that Aaron Rodgers works. And if not, I'd be surprised. But I also wouldn't be surprised to then see them trade for one at the deadline. Overall, should Aaron Rodgers still be playing in the NFL? I hate to say the answer is no. I really think that if he would have looked more deeply into the last couple of years, he would have realized 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, you knock out a division rival from playoff contention, and you reach the 500 touchdown club in the air. That's when you call it quits. Yes, he's a couple touchdowns away from Brett Favre's record of 507 that would put him 4th all time. I just don't think it's worth it. You have to know when to hold them, and you have to know when to fold them, to go back to the great words of Kenny Rogers. And I think he needs to listen to his fellow Rodgers here. You gotta fold them. He's gonna play this year. This has to be it for Aaron Rodgers. I would hate to see him ruin his legacy. And obviously he has the Super Bowl and all of that. That is going to stay in place. But I would hate him to go out there, 25 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, 3,000 yards, 6-11 season, play really bad, have his first season that he was a starter, have an 80 or lower QBR. And I feel like that is what he is on a crash course for. Once again, I hope Aaron Rodgers proves me wrong. And I think he knows he does have a chip on his shoulder after the last 2 years to show, okay, he can succeed outside of Green Bay. But I just don't see it happening. It could, but I don't, once again, see it happen. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day. He'll be remembered as an all-time great. But in the Steel City, he will most likely be remembered as yet another guy in the chain of command that separates Roethlisberger from the next heir to his throne in Pittsburgh. That's just my take. Let me know your thoughts down below. As well, once again, your thoughts on that campus hero idea. NFL picking out certain quarterbacks to go and play some big, quote-unquote, legacy games in the same state of a college that they really dominated back in the day. Could be a fun concept. Should Aaron Rodgers still be playing football? Let us know. That's the big question we're looking to have answered here. I understand both ends of the arguments completely. As well, go follow us on social media at SmeeSports on Instagram, SmeeFest2024 on Twitter. As well, go down below on your screen. I'm sure you can see it right there, that subscribe button. Go and click it. I believe right now maybe 85% of our viewers are not subscribed. A lot of that is due to the fact that we live stream a lot of high school and college athletics, and it is the opposing team tuning in just to see the team. We understand that part of it, but let's get that number closer to 70% not subscribed, 30% subscribed. Obviously, we want it to be 100%, but then again, asking for that would be like asking Russell Wilson to go back to Seattle and actually have a couple of good games, which as a Seahawks fan, that is what a great dream would be made of. But then again, if that dream happens, I know I'll wake up and it's time for class. So it's not going to happen. But this dream, it might be a little bit more feasible, so go down below, subscribe. It costs nothing, greatly helps out what we do at SmeeSports. One of our first videos that we've done in a long while of just talking about pro sports. I enjoy this form of content. Does it take a little while to do with editing and all that? Yes. We do a lot of live broadcasts for high school and college athletics. As I said, that's primarily where we work, especially now that we are an LLC. But I enjoy this kind of content. You do not want to miss it. And finally, if you or someone you know is a business owner wanting to sponsor content just like this, social media content, or any of our live broadcasts, contact me at one of the avenues on your screen right now. There you can, now you can see it. And that was our beautiful preview graphic for sponsorships and contact information. Contact us there. We'd love to work out a deal with you. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time. Aaron Rodgers, man. Come on. For the kids of the 2010s. Be good this year. Please.